Good morning, everybody. I'm back on the pickup truck this morning. Let me flip you around. And just a quick update. Got the glow plugs in and torque valve covers on with new wiring harnesses and all hooked up. Next, I'm going to put the injector pressure regulator. Yeah, IPR. I'll put that on. That's the next project. This morning I am going to be working on the IPR. And this is the top line here is the part, and they're calling it a regulator dash FU. Yeah. Okay. Part number they're saying here, since you can't really read it, is F81Z9C968AB. And it's just a little over $300, $306.93. Let's go after it here. Okay, so here we have it. One thing that they did slip in on me is looks like at least the outer package has already been opened. I'm hoping that the inner one isn't, because they don't take things back that's been opened, so must have been a mechanic that did that. And it has been opened. Bummer. I hope there wasn't a problem with it. Well, me goodness, it's too late now, because who's gonna believe me? Well, it's pretty and shiny, so hopefully it's okay. I don't see any signs of it being used. Yeah, we'll just see. And this is it right here. It gets a little signal and changes the voltage of a wiring coil in here, which acts like a solenoid. It pulls this in and out, and you can see little holes that you can imagine that are lining up or not lining up according to how this solenoid controls it in and out. And that's given the injectors the correct amount of pressure. And of course the crank position sensor tells the computer when to fire the injector, but this has to have the correct pressure when that all happens, and that's how it's controlled. Okay, so the IPR, it's going to go down the, let's see, that make it the left side of the fuel bowl. It's right down in there. Can't really see it on video, but trust me, that's where it's at. And we're going to put it in right now. I don't know if I can do this with one hand, but let me see. You never know till you try. I think that's a big no. Okay, so I just stuck it in there and got it hand tight. That's it right down there. There, yep. Okay, gotta tighten it up next. Okay, to get more room for my wrench, I'm gonna remove that little, I see orange sticking out of the back, but the connector appears to be blue. I think it's going into the temperature or the warming element for the fuel in the bowl. Okay, so it's actually a yellow connector here. Came off the bottom of the fuel bowl right down there. Okay, so what I've got on there is a 1 1/8 inch deep well socket, and I've got a little swivel neck ratchet, and that is what seems to work the best to get that thing tightened up. Okay. All right, so on this IPR, let's see, on the body right here, that torques to 35 foot-pounds. And on this little wafery nut here, it's supposed to go to 53 inch-pounds. And that's what I've got my torque converter or torque wrench set on. And I'm also going to give it a little dab of blue Loctite. Blue is the kind that you can get things off if you really need to. Okay, so I've shoved a towel down there to keep from losing parts. And I've got the spacer on the back of the IPR. And next I have to put on this nut, which I gave it just a tiny dab of blue Loctite. Okay, and now I've got that little nut on there. I should say the hollow side goes towards the cab of the truck, towards the driver's seat. The smooth side towards the device. Now I just got to torque it down. Add the wiring harness. The other thing is when you tighten this up, you want to make sure that the wiring harness is up and it is facing the right direction towards the driver's seat. Well, as you can see, the torque wrench is tight to get down in there, but you can get it done. Just go slow and take your time. That's the torque right there. Okay, and there I've got it set up, and I'm about to move my rag and put the wiring harness back on. So you can see the wiring coupler is facing towards accepting the wire towards the cab of the truck, and it's upright. Oh, and by the way, that little nut is a 17 that I just torqued down. Okay, and that's it with the wiring harness on it. I will tell you one thing about the wiring harness is on the new part, it's got a little brown washer inside it, just like that. Take that brown washer out and put it on the wiring harness from the truck. It'll make life easier to get that together. Okay, a surefire way of knowing that ICP is bad is if it's got oil in it. It's hard to see on the camera, but it's very oily in there. And there we go. The end of the connector here is all oily as well. So that means that's gone bad. Well, I've been all laying up in here, but I did change the CPI right there. Got that changed. It was, the new one was 1 1/16 inches, and the old one was a 5/8. But hopefully that's an upgrade. Right now I'm draining the radiator so I can change this temperature switch here. It hadn't worked right in a long time. Okay, so now that I've got all the valve covers on and all the bolts in place, and I've tightened them up snug, and the best information I've been able to find on the torque is 72 inch-pounds, or about between 6 and 8 foot-pounds, which isn't very much. And I think the worst thing you can do with a valve cover is to over tighten it. Valve cover or oil pan or anything like that, that sheet metal deforms, or you squish that gasket to the point where it's not sealing anymore. So anyway, it's not very tight. Go to about 72 inch-pounds. It'd be fine. We'll go with that. That's the best I can figure. also I'm torquing these valve covers. I mean, there's a fair amount of guesswork because I've got a bolt down there that's hard to get to with the torque wrench. Got one at the very back of the valve cover way back in there that I can't get my torque wrench on. So what I've done is I've torqued the ones that I can get to and taken an opening wrench and my socket and just put on there and tried them both with the open end and with the ratchet and get a feel for how much that tightness is on a measured one, and just use the muscle memory to go from there. And that's about the best I can do. And the oil pressure switch goes on. Well, things are going back together now. And of course, I got the battery box in and the air filter housing and got it all plumbed together. Let's see. Put that little jewel in there. Okay, and I've been cleaning up the parts, of course, as I've been putting them back together. Yeah. So, anyway, got a little bit more to go. Let's see, next thing I'm going to do is put the crank position or the cam position sensor on underneath. It goes right down in there. And then I got a lift pump I'm going to put on underneath the truck behind the driver's seat. And at some point here, I got a whole tank of fuel in here, but I want to drop my fuel tank and check the pickup tube. And there's a little sock screen in there. I want to make sure that's clean it all up. And that's about where we're at for now. Okay, well, more to come. One last thing to mention is I've got some O-rings and stuff to put in this fuel bowl, and I will be putting those on before I close this little area up here. See, the parts just came in today. Let's see here. This is it right here, no part number there. Let's see. Focus. Okay, so that's it. I don't know if you can read that or not, but it's a fuel pressure regulator. This one is made in China. I checked everywhere and nobody had it, so I ordered it online. Anyway, it's got O-rings basically and a little spring and that kind of stuff in there. Be tackling that tomorrow. All right, we'll come back and we'll see what it looks like when it's done. I'll show you what it looks like when I take it apart too. Okay, so this is the little parts I've got here. This one is stuff made from China. I wanted to get the Ford parts, but nobody had them in this little town I'm at, and I ordered this online, but it's mainly just O-rings, that little spring, this little housing right here. So I'll keep all those old parts too, but I guess with it just being O-rings, China can probably handle that. Okay, so that's where we are. I'll show you what it looks like when I tear it all down.